Hey, well, welcome back to another segment of How the Hell Do We Do This? So what we're going to do today is I was asked by a friend of mine to put a logo on a drum head. He collects drum heads and he has his favorite band, and he wants to put this logo on the drum head. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through on how to do something like that. So let's get started. So obviously, if you want to do a drum head, what you're going to need is a drum head. So we purchased this one. And there's a drum head. Nice clean white drum head. The next thing you're going to need is a clear piece of decal paper. Now it's not sticky paper, it's not a self-adhering stamp. This is water decal, just like you used to use in the modeling days when you used to do your models or you see anybody doing models. This is called a water slide decal. Gloss on one side and clear paper on the other side. Water slide decal. For, again, inkjet printers. So obviously the next thing you're going to need is an inkjet printer. What else you're going to need is some clear coat. Alright, I use a Rust-Oleum clear coat and sealer. And so the next thing you're going to need is you're going to have to come up with your decal or whatever. This is a decal we're doing for a band, for a friend of mine. It's called Local H. So what we did was we tested the paper out, looked at the logo and said, okay, this is a regular white piece of paper. This is how we want the logo. The logo will, again, it's the same size as 8.5 by 11. That's what the water slide decal sheet is. So let's move that to the side, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to place this to get an idea of how it's going to look on the drum head. So we're happy with that. So now what we're going to do is we go to download this logo on your computer, laptop, whatever, and print it to your inkjet printer. Okay, so after you print it to your inkjet printer, that's what it's going to look like, and it's a high gloss finish. So it's really nice. And make sure you put it on the best print possible and photo paper, and you'll get that. It'll take a little longer, but this is the results you'll get. It's absolutely beautiful. So what I did was I put a garbage bag down on the table, taped the unit down, which is this paper here. So I taped this down, the decal, because when you spray it with the clear coat, because that's what we have to do now, we have to give it 2 to 3 coats of clear coat, and that seals the paper in, so, and the print. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray that over, but we don't want to get on anything, but we don't want the edges to curl up, so we put tape on the edges so that overnight drying would just sit there and doesn't curl up. So now we're going to go ahead and spray it. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it, pick up that can good, and again, this is the clear coat. We are now going to spray it nice, even coats. Let that sit there and dry. Okay, so here we are. We gave it 3 coats of spray gloss, and it's been drying for a couple days now, so I just let it sit there. The ink didn't run. It's perfect. It has that nice texture to it, so you know it's sealed tight. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use a straight edge ruler, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut right about there. We're going to use an X-Acto knife and cut that border to make it the logo symbol, and we're going to get rid of all this other paper around it. So we'll cut it. I use blue tape to keep the transfer down on the board. It's a wood board underneath it. And what I do is I use blue tape this way, it holds it down, and when I cut it with the X-Acto knife, it stays kind of laid down. I don't want it moving or shifting, otherwise it'll cut into the logo. So there's the logo. It's all cut out. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to prepare the water. We have to give it a warm bath, and what will happen is the glue would start releasing from the back of the paper and make it like a slide. That's where it gets its name from, water slide transfers. And we'll transfer it right onto the drum head. First we're going to make a very light pencil mark on the drum head so we know where to line it up. So the drum head with a ruler over it comes out to 16.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide it in half. That brings it out to 8 1/4, which is right there. And all we do is we put a little dot on the drum head, just so we know where that center is. And then we're going to draw a straight line right across, because here's the name of the drum head. So we want to draw a nice horizontal line going across the drum head, and very light, and that'll be the location where we put the logo. So when the logo is on it, it sits in the middle of the drum head. So that's about the center on the drum head. So that's how it's going to look when we get done with it, hopefully. And what we did was, it was easier to measure from the corners, so I know it was 3 inches from the edge of that decal, and 3 inches from the edge of that to the decal. And then we did the same thing up and down. We went from the top of the drum head to the top of that peak, and from the peak at the bottom of the decal to the end of the drum head. So we know that everything is centered from here. So now we're going to get our water bath ready, and now that we know where we're going to lay it, and we'll get back. We have our bath of water, and our drum head's right on the side of it, lined up the way we want it. And we're now going to take the logo and submerge it into the water. And because I need 2 hands to do this, I will get back to you. Alright, so we went from here. See how it's separated? The water actually separated the transfer. And then we slid it right over to the drum head. So I'll give you a better idea. We located it, and there it is. We pressed it out and got all the air bubbles out. And what I use is I have old credit cards. Always good to keep old credit cards around. This is a blank one. But if you find old credit cards, these are great for squeegees, for mixing glues, plastics, and you just throw them away. You don't have to worry about keeping them. So any old credit cards are great for that. And then you just squeeze the decal to get out all the air bubbles very gently. And now we just let it sit there and dry. And we should be ready to go. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. So I just wanted to do a quickie on the water. So this is just a piece of scrap water slide transfer. I just wrote a couple things on it, and we're going to put in, like I showed you before. See how it curls up? So with 2 hands, what you want to do is you want to keep that submerged flat underneath. And again, usually about 30 seconds until the glue separates from the paper. And this is a warm bath. This is not hot, and it's not cold. Just enough warmth to dissolve, almost like what you would give a baby bath kind of a deal. And you could almost see the decal starting to lift. I don't know if you could catch that. Right there, you see it? It's starting to fold. So then, little by little, we could take that right off. See how it separates? And that's it. And then you just adhere it to whatever you're going to use it on. A piece of wood, piece of plastic, and then you get out all the water bubbles. Alright? And that's it. And we'll